Lauren's kind of a weak sauce for a pale demoness. She doesn't go around using her powers to get a job done. In a public setting it makes sense, but outside the masquerade she doesn't bother. Like years ago when she possessed you, I saw her kill my clone sisters, just like that. But now she's too scared to use them. Why is that? Is that a fireable offense? Your girlfriend Amanda uses them all the time. So does Gordon, Lily, and countless other agents I've met. What's the matter with Lauren? I really don't know. Maybe she's become a pacifist. Well, I'm a pacifist myself too. I became a Shinto practitioner when I joined the HCF, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't use my powers no matter what. If I have them, of course. It would make me feel dirty though. Is Lauren a Shintoist too? Fuck no, she wouldn't wear a cross if she was. She's Christian since the day she was born. Not very religious after she fell from heaven, but still. Maybe she regrets her killing Anger after he got decapitated. Maybe she feels suppressed after being defeated by the stalking crow and I did the deed. Maybe she resents being a pale demoness. That could be a possibility. I also heard fears that she was groomed by a despicable demon, but she can't confirm nor deny it. Guess we'll never know. I wish I wasn't a puny human. Take it from me, don't. Live your life to the fullest. It's best to be human than someone immoral. I don't want to be immortal. I like to be like Gordon or Lily. I'm just jealous, Sophie. They get all this amazing crap, and I'm just playing second fiddle. The only thing I'm special of is my increased libido, and that sucks as a Shintoist. Still, if I were you, and if I had powers like Lauren, I wouldn't abuse them. It's cool to have powers, but I don't want to use them to get ahead. I like to be on a leveled playing field. If not, then I'd rather be powerless and have a challenge instead. You need to do things with calm, precision, and the right know-how. I heard you're doing pretty well as a human spy. I need something to take away from this conversation. Been trying a lot of Wii stuff lately. Surprised you haven't got a Switch yet. Why do I need it? I don't scream Nintendo Mark to you. Figures. Here's a review of a Nintendo game by someone who normally doesn't review Nintendo stuff. Look, I didn't care much about them in my childhood. If I did, my profile pic would look more like someone's manga drawing from mid-2000s DeviantArt. Look, it's a Wii! The Nintendo Wii was the system that put the company back on a home console map after the sales disappointments of their last two consoles. The console was quite unique for its motion control technology, appealing to the remotes. Because of that, it appealed more to casuals, which led to over 100 million consoles sold since its launch in 2006. But what's a good showcase for the remote? There's always Wii Sports, a collection of sports games that splendidly show off its capabilities, while its sequel, Resort, showcases the improvements of the remote with Motion Plus attached or built in some of them. There's Wii Play, which is more of a glorified tech demo than sports. Wanna go hardcore? Try the sport of Resident Evil 4, praised for its aiming system. And then there's Ubisoft's Red Steel, a game where you use remote to not only aim, but also to look around. First impressions are important, and I really don't like it. It takes a lot to get used to it, but even then, I'd much rather play with a controller. Too bad I strictly remote nunchuck for this. But you know what I think is the best motion control showcase? Wah! Born out of a side game in Mario Artist's Polygon studio for the ill-fated 64DD, WarioWare is a series of rapid-fire microgame collections where you must quickly complete them without much instructions other than a mostly one-worded blurb. First launched in 2003 for the Game Boy Advance as Mini Wario in Japan, Mega MicroGames in America, and Minigame Mania in Europe. It's a fun and weird little game, and I was so obsessed with it. There are tons of microgames in there, plus some extras you can unlock, like the skate jump game, the jump rope game, and Dr. Wario. So much replayability, so much content, I love it. And everyone else did too. So much so that there have been games inspired by it, with twists in the formula, like the browser game Superstuffed NickToons Minigame Mania, a game that's completely ruined by having a loaded screen between microgames, a major sin for these types of games. There's no excuse when Newgrounds people made a WarioWare-esque game without any noticeable loading in between. Digressing, WarioWare became such a success, it got sequels. However, without counting Mega Party games, which is just the first game ported to the GameCube with a heavy emphasis on multiplayer, the follow-ups became more of showcases of the capabilities of the consoles, controllers, or the add-on in the cartridge. It began with 2004's Twisted, a game about tilting your GBA. It is the first game in the series to be co-developed by Intelligent Systems, much like Yoshi's universal gravitation, is topsy-turvy slower in the UK. It is the perfect showcase of what the cartridge gyroscope can do. However, while it did get a PAL release in Australia, it was never released in Europe. No reason was given as to why to this day. It's not because the gyroscope contains mercury in it, which it doesn't. It uses piezoelectricity. If it did, topsy-turvy wouldn't get a European release. But at least Touch was released over here. The DS game is as expected. A showcase on a handle's touchscreen with microphones involving tapping, spinning, scratching, slicing, dicing, blowing. Blowing? Yeah, it also showcases the console's microphone. Touch became a sales success thanks to being released very early in the console's lifespan. And the same could be said about its follow-up, WarioWare Smooth Moves, released in late 2006 in Japan and in January 2007 elsewhere. Time to embarrass myself. So in the first WarioWare, Wario watched the news about a hot new video game going on sale, so he decides to find a game company to make his own, hiring a few of his so-called friends for the job, children included, to help him. In the end, it went on sale and became a smash hit. Then Mania tried running with the money after his employees demanded pay, only to get his comeuppance. The end. In the later games, when he tries a newfangled way to play games, he decides to cash in on them, though in Smooth Moves, there doesn't seem to be any mention of Wario wanting to capitalize on something. After a wordless backstory about the form batons, Wario enters a temple as he was chasing someone stealing food, steals a baton, and runs away like Indiana Jones. Then at the end, the denizens of the temple demand the baton to be returned, but he runs away, only to trip inside the temple and let it fall with his place. The end. Sorry for spoiling this early, but it feels as if this game is its own thing. It's WarioWare, who cares? But anyways, here's the first microgame set where all you do is handle the remote like, well, a remote. Whenever you're about to play a game with a different form, you get a description of it told by a deep and calm voice.
The handlebar. Turn the form baton sideways and grasp the ends firmly in both hands. Like riding a bicycle, perfecting this stance requires grace, steadiness, and tight shorts.
May ruin the pace a bit, but they only show up the first time, so it's okay. Outside of the microgames, the presentation is quite stellar. I'm a sucker for cute 2D artwork, even if it's about Wario. While I do like the pixel art of the GBA games more, this is still great to see. So clean, so cheerful, and upbeat. I love it. I quite love the bits in between microgames. It's now more animated, much like the first game. I was a bit disappointed when Twisted and Touched looked more static, even if the speed up with both stage cars and Cat standing former is unique in a way. The presentation in the microgames is a mixed bag, literally. Each game has its own style, whether it's pixel art, traditional, digital, digitized, or even 3D. Though the last one can leave a lot to be desired, mostly on the human stuff. Sure, they can be stylized or use memes for it, sometimes both. But then there's those that look off, even if it's intentional. Why did you make the costume in the Scam microgame look like it came from Food Fight? Overall, it's still great. Sound is great as well, though you can't experience it fully in the footage because some games use the remote speaker for some sounds, which is difficult to record.
Wicked.
Doesn't help that my remote speaker is going bad as of this video's recording. Oh well, I can improvise. Can't forget about the voice acting, though only played it between microgames whether you fail or win. Wait till gold. Charles Martinet does a great job as Wario, though it doesn't sound good as in the previous games. Most likely his age and him voicing Mania for many years too, it's bound to happen. The rest are great too, especially Orbalon still tugging through that singing vocoder before he starts sounding like Tom Kenny. I can't be the only one who noticed that, he's not even voiced by him.
Welcome to Gigantaburger. What can I get you?
I would like to eat 9 mega burgers, please. No, 10, please.
Sorry, sir. We just sold our last one.
For music, it's a great fare. Also good is playing a game I just made up called Find the Songs You See TF2 Where. Though it can't be disheartening seeing a comment going, hey, is that song from Crack Life? Get out! I love Tomorrow Hill, played during Dribble Spitz game set.
Sitting inside my pocket, I packed a cupcake to sweeten up my view when I make it up there.
Oh shit, I'm pissing off some people, I love when WarioWare does this kind of stuff. So what exactly do you do in this game? Well, you're given a prompt, most of the time a 1 or 2 word sentence, and you must do what's told before time quickly runs out. This being about the remote, you're given a form to be at before playing it, and to do what you usually do in a situation like this. Handle the remote like an umbrella, or a steering wheel, or as a boxer, or an elephant, or as if you're about to lift a weight or squat, or just put it on a table and pick it up at the right time. I don't have a table in front of me, so I have to use the left hand for one. And of course there's at least one microgame about putting stuff in noses. I'm quite surprised by what the remote is actually capable of. It can sense your tapping, required for a few of them. I thought I have to move like this to train the papers, but you actually have to tap your hand with the bottom of the remote. Tell me your secrets. Though there are a few microgames that frustrate me, like the one where you hand over pamphlets or breaking up Wario. No matter how I do it, most of the time I fail. Granted, I was playing in a rather narrow space, so it's hard to do the samurai microgames because of it, unless it's a rockstar. Just shake it. Then you have the tug-of-war one where I was stuffed. I get that it's a matter of timing, but boy do I not succeed most of the time. I get the timing off, I don't get much even if I try so hard, I get confused. I'm actually surprised that all you do in the umbrella game is just press A at the right time. When all the other games revolve around moving the remote, this one caught me off guard. While the game can be played seated, it is recommended, no, required to play standing up, and maybe with the sensor bar above the TV, because some microgames require you to have a lot more movement, like the Big Cheese ones or Dribble's boss stage. They require you to jump, damn you! May not help much, but this is a good exercise game. So in a character set, you play a certain amount of games given to you before you get to the boss stage. However, in between some intervals, the game will speed up, so you better get your bearing as you play. That's one of the things I love about this series. It's that sense of urgency when you play them. You have 4 lives, fail a game, and you lose a life, so you must survive till the end. But finally, you get to the boss stage, and it's a long one. To list a few favorites, I love the Cat and Nana one where you drive the car to the finish. It seems like a serene drive at first, but in the harder levels the car goes faster, so it's right up my alley. The Penny one is a sword fight where you must deflect your opponent's swings towards you until you get to the finishing blow. Ooh, the Star Fox one, Starwing. Oddly enough, this is the only game where it plays at a faster speed, at minimum. You cannot even practice it at a lower speed at the template form, it's always this fast. When you succeed the first time, you'll look a new set or 2 to play it. Finishing is half the fun. The other half is trying to get the microgames they can offer, completing a set and getting a roast for it. Now it's all about high scores. When you get past the boss stage, you gotta relax screen somewhat, where it displays a pose you can do before moving on. Oh honey, that's not a sharpshooter, this is! I don't do these poses because I don't want to embarrass myself that much. It's not a requirement anyway. Aside from that, the game levels up and it gets harder as if speed wasn't enough. However, if you want a boss stage, you want a 1-up. Though you only get it if you don't have all 4 in you. After the first playthrough, it's just an infinite gauntlet to get the highest score possible. This game has insane replay value and I love it. Let's talk about sets. Now, in the previous games, they have a theme attached to them. In the first game, it's about topics like sports, life, fantasy, reality, which is just digitized photos in the microgames, and Nintendo stuff, which is in all the games. In Twisted, it centers around the tilt stuff, where it's just tilting and pressing A, gravity changes, or just pressing A. That's it. In Touch, it's about the methods of play on the touchscreen, like tapping, slicing, dragging, spinning, scribbling, the works. Here, well, they don't center around themes much, other than 9V having Nintendo stuff and Wario having his narcissistic sets. As in, he almost always appears in the microgames one way or the other. I guess the theme is more musical, as each set has the songs in the salvage intermissions. Anyways, after Wario's first set, we move on to the girl with the many jobs, Mona. She was an ice cream vendor, a pizza delivery rider, and a rock star on the side, and after being chased by cops and a rival pizza place twice, now she's doing cheerleading, and a boy has a crush on her. Not much conflict here. Shame he didn't admit his love in time. After that, here's Karanana. Get it? And new to the series, Young Cricket and Master Mantis. The former duo, who are supposed to be kindergarten age, mind you, try to save a palace from a giant ogre, who just wants their kid back, while the latter duo just wants some damn dumplings. Contrast! I know this isn't real, but I find it off-putting that WarioWare hired Shoto to make his games, with little pay mind you. He's no hero anyway. As with any WarioWare game, it has remix levels from our friendly disco dancer Jimmy T. He doesn't have his own set here, unfortunately. All remixes. It's from T, where he dances with Cassie Club Sugar, and another later one from Jimmy P, who dances with dogs in Club Spice. Where's Club Everything Nice? Guy looks like Bobobo. What? After that, we get stuff from Dribble and Spitz, coming back after the Touch absence, aside from a cameo. It goes like in the first game, where they haul a seemingly normal looking passenger to a special place, only to find out it's a supernatural being. Here is an alien in disguise. Also, Ashley and another new character, Penny, Dr. Krieger's granddaughter, are here. Former set is about her stumbling upon a big living book that'll make her better at magic. Ashley gives me vibes of Mandy from the Grim Adventures, at least in international releases. Meanwhile, Penny and Grims go on an event off to see who makes the best invention. Go figure. I think this set has the best intermission jingles in the game. Then you have 9 Volt's collection. Well, technically 18 volts since it's about him buying a Game & Watch for 9 volt after he broke it. Still, it's usually my favorite as it sets throughout the series are always about Nintendo stuff. Mario, Zelda, Metroid even. Not only that, but they also pay respect to the history of the company, more than just their games and consoles. It's fine and dandy to see a lot of Nintendo properties in 9 volt and Friends games, but where's Pokemon? No, seriously, have you ever seen one microgame about Pokemon in this entire series? These games pay tribute to Metroid, Star Fox, Balloon Fight, Animal Crossing, the Game & Watch, Nintendogs, Clu Land, and others. And who fucking remembers that? Not only that, but it also has microgames about their products unrelated to gaming, like the Ultra Hand, the Ultra Machine, the Shiritori vacuums, and their old playing cards. No love of Tales though. And yet, no Pokemon! You mean they can't port the Virtual Boy in one of the microgames but nary a Pokemon? Is the Pokemon Company overly protective of their franchise? No, wait, that's part of Nintendo, and they co-created and own the franchise, so why no Pokemon in WarioWare? It's just so odd to admit such a popular series here. It's like not having Sonic in a big crossover game with Sega characters in it. What the fuck? I also saw a noticeable lack of Kirby stuff. Don't care. After the Jimmy P remix, it's time for a last stretch. As Wario tries his new mini bike from Penny, he notices that he's getting sucked in, literally, and tiny little wires are shot from the exhaust. Now they're ransacking a strawberry crop, hopefully to make them grow back to 1. Don't ask, it's fucking WarioWare, anything can happen. This is a challenging one, as, like 9 volt said, it takes full advantage of all the forms you learn, except 2, as well as throwing a few from Wario's first set. And with all that, it leads to the most haunting, most devastating boss stage of them all. Dancing. Oh yes, this is what I'm talking about. You don't need to follow the dancer's moves exactly, just the remotes, but when you have guests in, it's best to do it. It's a test of confidence to see if you can dance like them without embarrassing yourself. Helps as the song rocks. But it's not over yet, as after the credits, which just displays the names of the characters like Boy, a new set to play shows up as Oblong crash lands into the temple. In this set, you actually get to use a nunchuck, which means there's gotta be a boxing microgame in it, right. We have Punch Out at home. I wouldn't say that I wish this was further expanded, but move it exists now. I don't have a Switch though. They don't detach! Besides that, you get to enter the mixed towers, at least one. Do the microgames from all those sets. When enough, you can unlock a new tower with a twist. 1 life, or it's all fast, or no phone cards given. Figure it out, bitch! Then, after finishing Orbulon's set, you get to use Dr. Krieger's Calorimeter, where you do 20 microgames to burn calories. No, not calories, calories, whatever they are. Some microgames are extended, so you can get more cal points along the way. Though no matter what, I always end up skinny. And that's it! Unfortunately, there's only very few minigames and activities compared to Twisted and Touched. At least in the single player, there's only 6, but at least Pyoro's here. Still fun to play them, but I wish there was more than that. Some more experimental or menial stuff like those games had. I want to talk about regional differences because I fucking love regional differences. Otherwise, this channel would be called Censored Gaming instead. I mean, there are a few instances where you can say that it got censored, like the photo headshot one where the girl wears a turtleneck sweater in international releases instead of a nightdress. I don't mind, turtlenecks are hot. No, I'm more interested in the other stuff, like how the form count descriptions in the Japanese original, how references to the country's culture and folklore, read by someone whose Japanese was in their first language.
滝登り左方部を縦に構え親指をそっとボタンに乗せましょうその姿は荒々しい滝を登る声のように美しく見る者の心を奪います
The umbrella. Hold the form baton vertically, thumb resting lightly on the button. Through this dance, you channel the quiet dignity of a circus clown in the midst of a thunderstorm.
Also, some expected stuff like turning the wheel from right to left in the Driving Boss game and replacing the Famicom with the American Super Nintendo in one of the MicroGames. Oddly enough, the European version also uses a US SNES. Interestingly enough, the South Korean version also has some unique changes, like the portraits in the answering microgame being replaced by traditional Korean nobles. Plus, the one where you attack a ninja after landing looks completely different. Now about Wario attacking a thieving monkey. Must be their government's hatred of Japanese culture still bring back then. Can you blame them? So that was WarioWare Smooth Moves. It's a really fun game, all things considered. As someone who only played through the single player portion for most of the video, I think that it's fantastic for a party game with its crazy microgames that can make everyone laugh. Sure beats 1-2 Switch, whatever that is. It's not that expensive either on the used market at least, so I recommend getting it. Next time, an excuse to play on my Xbone again. Seriously, I'm pretty sure it dearly misses me for months now. Amazing that you talked at length about this game, and no mention of the fact that you can't pause in this game normally. Actually, you can. You just have to press both the plus and minus buttons to do so. I'd rather press the home button.